Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. This is Lifestyle Critic, where we break down movies and TV shows into their core elements, and in this video we are going to be reviewing the Snyder Cut, aka Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it is just absolutely incredible. I literally cannot believe this moment that I'm actually able to review the Snyder Cut, which is just absolutely incredible. I've wanted to watch this movie ever since I heard about it being created years and years and years ago, and now the brilliant fan campaign of creating this film has just been absolutely incredible. I mean, it's amazing the fact that an entire movie was created with these brilliant characters, brilliant actors, and this brilliant storyline that has just been shelved, and nobody would have seen the actual vision of what this movie is all about. I know when the first news came out about the Snyder Cut, everyone was saying, you know, it is actually a whole new movie, and I didn't quite believe that. I mean, obviously there are some scenes that are similar to the 2017 cut, but otherwise, more or less, it is a brand new movie, which I just find mind-blowing. I mean, the character development in the Snyder Cut is just absolutely brilliant. You can really understand where all of the different characters are coming from. They're really, really well fleshed out, and then when they form the actual Justice League, it just feels so iconic, so epic. The tone is actually consistent throughout. When you now watch the 2017 Whedon cut, you can see that it does feel really, really disjointed. And now when you look back, you can just see that it was totally butchering the Snyder Cut, which was just epic and perfect as it was. And I really like the inclusion of Darkseid as a villain, which was just absolutely brilliant. Very Thanos-esque in terms of having a bigger bad behind the scenes. But that being said, Steppenwolf was still a formidable foe instead of being a laughable character like he was in the Whedon cut. In this movie, he is actually a really, really clever, really, really menacing character. And we of course have the black suited Superman, which looks really, really cool as well. I hope that there is some kind of a continuation, as the Snyder Cut is so good, and well done to Zack Snyder for creating it, because his vision is truly realized, and I cannot wait to break it down for you in this movie review. So from a storyline point of view, we pick up straight after the events of Batman v Superman, and the entire world is still mourning the death of Superman, which you see certain terrorist groups are now taking advantage of the fact that Superman is out of the picture, but there are still heroes like Wonder Woman to still try and save the day. We're then introduced to the concept of the three mother boxes, these three very powerful boxes that are in three different corners of the earth, and when they are united, they will bring forth the destruction of the earth and will also bring Darkseid into the world as well. We also, in particular, have some really brilliant and really rich backstories of the Flash, so you can really understand his humor, the use of his powers, and the backstory with his father, which is really, really great as well. You also meet Aquaman and his initial rivalry with the Batman character, and what's happening with him and Atlantis, how he kind of wants to reject that part of him, how he wants to stay in the top world. We also understand a lot more about Steppenwolf, how he wants to prove himself to Darkseid, how he's on this mission, ruthless mission, to try and find all of the mother boxes. And in particular, we have a brilliant backstory of the Cyborg character. How did he become this way, and what's his relationship like with his father, how he wants to kind of stay alone in the beginning. And because they set up all of these different characters so brilliantly across the 4-hour duration of the movie, when they then unite to form the Justice League, it's just such an epic, absolutely brilliant moment, especially then when they're joined by Superman. It's just truly breathtaking, and in particular, it just did not feel rushed at all. You're really with all of these different characters, the pacing is absolutely perfect, and the 2017 release was just such a rushed movie. You literally felt like you didn't know what on earth was going on, because everything was going on so quickly that you weren't able to enjoy it, and you weren't able to really feel connected with the characters, which you really do in the Snyder Cut. And then the inevitable fight sequences, the chase sequences are all super brilliant, and the battle that they have with Steppenwolf is just truly epic as well. So from a storyline point of view, the Snyder Cut is absolutely awesome. So from a casting characters point of view, I've always said the DCEU has just had a spot-on, brilliant track record with all of their casting, and yes, that does include Jesse Eisenberg and Jared Leto and Ben Affleck. I just feel like the cast are just so strong. It's just such a shame that the movies weren't as well received, because I feel like from a casting point of view, they've done a really good job. So let's go through them one by one. So first up we have Ben Affleck as Batman, and I'm still so gutted that the original path of the DCEU wasn't realised, as I feel like Ben Affleck is such a good Batman, and I really wish we would have gone down the road of having him having his own solo movie and just seeing what would have happened in the second and third Justice League movie. As like I said, Ben Affleck does such a good job, but as far as this movie goes, he's on a bit of a path of redemption and is an excellent leader in this film as well. You do see him with the staple Batman type characters such as Alfred and Commissioner Gordon, but in terms of the Justice League characters, he's got a really, really nice relationship with Diana / Wonder Woman. I feel like their partnership is really, really cool. I love the mentor role that he's got with Barry Allen. I just feel like the two of them bounce off each other so well, and there's such a good relationship in terms of Bruce Wayne being the really rich, arrogant character, Barry Allen being the young, youthful, funny character, and the two of them interacting with each other really, really well. I love the fact that he's in awe of Superman now. Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, Batman and Superman, have a really, really nice relationship in this movie. I also really like the rivalry that we see with Arthur Curry and Bruce Wayne. That's really, really funny as well. And also how he's becoming friends as well with Cyborg, and how he really values what Cyborg can bring to the team, as there's a lot of the things that they wouldn't be able to do without Cyborg, so his prominence in the team is really, really felt. Next up we have Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and she is absolutely brilliant as always. I love the iconic theme tune music that happens whenever she comes on screen. She's got some absolutely brilliant fight sequences in this movie as well, and she's also very wise and is definitely the narrator in terms of educating the audience and the different characters in terms of what Steppenwolf is trying to do in this movie. And I also really like how she uses her heart to win over the Cyborg character and also the other different characters as well. So she's actually a really fleshed out character in this movie as well. We also have Henry Cavill, who's back as Superman, and his black suit looks super epic. I just can't believe that black suit was totally cut in its entirety in the Whedon cut. And speaking of editing, obviously Henry Cavill looked really bad in the Whedon cut, whereas in this movie he looks really, really great. In terms of his resurrection, that is quite similar to how you saw it in the 2017 Whedon cut. But that being said, there is some new additional footage that you've never seen before for the Superman character, especially the human side with Martha and with Lois Lane as well. We also have Ray Fisher in this movie, and such a brilliant introduction to the Cyborg character. I can't believe that there was so much footage introducing us to the Cyborg character, really understanding his past, really understanding his decision making, really interesting scenes as well with all of the different characters, and you can really understand why this character is behaving the way that he is. All of the emotional scenes were just taken away in the Whedon cut, so I'm glad it's all preserved in the Snyder Cut, and the journey that this character goes on is definitely one of the most impactful and one of the biggest in this entire movie. Next up we have Ezra Miller, who is brilliant as Barry Allen / The Flash. He's definitely a lot more comedic, definitely the comedy value in this film, but that being said, he does integrate with all of the different characters really, really well. Like I said before, I in particular really like his relationship with Bruce Wayne, and he's really integral to completing a lot of the missions to save the entire world. So actually the necessity of this character is really, really important. There is obviously a lot more backstory with this character that you didn't see before that you get to see this time. But that being said, some of his scenes are quite similar to what you saw in the 2017 cut, because he was always quite a funny character. Contrastingly though, Jason Momoa's portrayal of Aquaman is so much less goofy than he was in the 2017 cut. I feel like that performance was a little bit laughable, but in this film the tone is definitely accurate for the Aquaman character, and you can really see him before you go on this big epic adventure in his solo movie. So I feel like they did a really good job in terms of introducing this character in this film, which is really, really great. You can see why he's resisting joining the Justice League in the beginning, how he's still trying to find himself and learn his abilities, and how he's also trying to resist the Atlantean side of his character as well. So a really great introduction to the Aquaman character. Similarly to Steppenwolf, definitely a much more formidable foe in this movie. He does look a lot better than he did in the 2017 film. He was such a laughable villain in the Whedon cut, whereas this time he's actually a pretty menacing, and you can see that he's got his own issues as he's trying to prove himself to Darkseid. He's a little bit desperate and wanting to please Darkseid. So I really like the fact that this character was actually a lot more rounded than he was last time. You also see a lot more from Amy Adams in this movie as Lois Lane. She has a lot more scenes with Martha Kent, she has a lot more scenes with Superman, and you can also see how this character is doing after the death of Superman as well, which is really, really interesting. You also have a lot more from Amber Heard as the Mirror character as well, and she actually has her own fight sequence with Steppenwolf, which was obviously completely eradicated in the previous cut. She also has a lot more scenes with the Aquaman character as well, so you can see where the relationship of them two goes in the solo Aquaman movie. We also have a different scene with Jesse Eisenberg and Deathstroke in this movie, which would have set up the next Batman movie. We obviously have that Jared Leto cameo appearance as the Joker character, and I really like the relationship between this version of Joker and Batman. I just wish we would have seen that in the solo Batman movie as well. We also see a lot from Darkseid. I can't believe that this character was scrapped in its entirety as well from the 2017 Cup. Actually, he pops up in quite a few places and is a much bigger villain, and has got a lot more prominence than Thanos did in some of the background cameo appearances that he made in the MCU. So I feel like Darkseid was really well introduced in this film. You definitely can feel like he's a big bad that's going to come in the next few movies and cause absolute carnage. So I feel like they handled Darkseid really, really well. And finally, we have that cameo appearance from a special guest Justice League member, which is a really nice touch. It's a shame we didn't get Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern in this movie, but you know, that being said, from a cast and characters point of view, this movie is absolutely extraordinary. So from a visuals point of view, they literally look out of this world. The Snyder Cut just looks absolutely impeccable, absolutely brilliant watching, absolutely incredible cinematography. All of the fight sequences that these characters do is just super, super great. All of the parademons are just brilliant little foes of Steppenwolf, and then when Steppenwolf actually comes onto the stage, he just proves to be such a formidable villain against the entire Justice League. All of the Justice League using all of their different powers to try and stop Steppenwolf looks absolutely incredible. His hellish base looks absolutely terrifying as well when all of the different characters have to go there. That looks absolutely incredible. Seeing the Batmobile and seeing Batman use all of his different gadgets looks really, really great as well. I love the black suited Superman. Again, I just cannot believe that this was entirely cut from the 2017 release, as it just looks so, so cool. And Darkseid, like I said before as well, looks absolutely incredible. You can really see how much of a menacing villain this guy is, especially in the defeat scene of Steppenwolf and how he's stepping on something. It just looked absolutely terrifying, and I feel like they really did set up the future installments absolutely brilliantly. So from a visuals point of view, the Snyder Cut looks absolutely insane. So from a comparison point of view, I just feel like the Snyder Cut versus the Whedon Cut is just incomparable, as the Snyder Cut is just miles better than the Whedon Cut. I just am shocked that this movie was just not released in this vision and was just butchered to becoming 2 hours, adding and changing and just ultimately destroying what this brilliant masterpiece was. It just had a consistent tone, which was just definitely felt throughout the movie, and it just meant that it was just so enjoyable and really a lot more comprehensible as well. All of the fight sequences look absolutely incredible, but in particular, I just loved all of the different character arcs that all ultimately met to form the brilliant Justice League, which was just such a well-earned moment. And then their victory at the end was just absolutely incredible. And then the twist and all of the stuff that was happening at the end, and then the epilogue that happened afterwards. I just feel like it was just such a brilliant package of a movie that was really nicely paced with all of the different parts, which just made it really, really iconic. And I think comparing it to the first Avengers movie, I know the MCU definitely is in another league of its own, but I feel like part of me does prefer the Snyder Cut to the first Avengers movie as well. So from a comparison point of view, the Snyder Cut is just absolutely incredible. So overall, I'm sure you can tell I absolutely love the Snyder Cut. It was so much better than I thought it was going to be, and just in another league to what we got in 2017. And I just literally cannot believe that there was just an entire movie that was scripted, filmed, and almost edited that we just never would have seen had the Snyder Cut not been released. I feel like 4 hours was absolutely perfect for this movie. It just never felt like 4 hours. It was just such brilliantly paced, such brilliant characters, such brilliant visuals, brilliant fight sequences, and brilliantly building out the universe that would have continued really, really nicely. And I just hope in some way, shape or form we can see what would have happened next, whether that's animations, whether that is actually a live action movie. I just really cannot wait to see what's going to happen next after the Snyder Cut. But as far as this movie goes, I have to give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.